Salams and welcome. Thank you for joining me in another episode of the Quran in English Basics for Beginners. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Right, we look at the series of the messengers who came to the people with the truth of La ilaha illallah, there is only one God. The people rejected them and then the punishment came. Right, in simple terms. We saw the story of Moses and Pharaoh, and then Abraham and his people worshiped the idols, and then Noah and the ark, and the people of Ad with Hud alayhi salam, the people of Thamud and Salih alayhi salam with an amazing camel, but they slaughtered the camel. Now let's look at the people of Lut, the people of Sodom and Gomorrah, and Lut, the nephew of Abraham, peace and blessings be upon both of them. He was sent to guide his people, to tell them that, guys, what y'all are doing is not right. As a belief man, so stop doing all of this. But they did not listen to him because they were so deeply involved in their lusts and sexual activities, which the Quran says it's wrong. Right now, we as human beings, we respect people. We don't go out, tarnishing people, but we just simply say what the Quran says, right? So let's continue with this. The people of Lut rejected the messengers. Behold, their brother Lut said to them, will you not fear Allah? I am to you a messenger worthy of all trust. So fear Allah and obey me. No reward do I ask of you for it. My reward is only from the Lord of the worlds. Of all the creatures in the world, will you approach males? And this is what the Quran is warning people, that as a belief man, homosexuality is not allowed in Islam. Gay sex, man with man, is not allowed in Islam, because when God created human beings, God had, through his infinite knowledge and wisdom, he wanted a method whereby human beings can continuously survive. There must be survival of the species. There must be perpetuation of the species. And the only way that this can happen, right? So this is the supreme intelligence of God. So let's just look at why this is so important, right? So when God, most merciful, created, so God, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the creator of the heavens and the earth, the supreme creator, when he created mankind, he wanted to find a way. Now God doesn't have to think, we have to think, but God just says kun and it happens. So he wanted to have billions of people, but God did not want to create different billions of people. Out of his genius and his super intelligence, infinite intelligence, he created a man and a woman. This is the genius of Allah. He created a male and a female. And he created a male with sperm, and a female got the ova or the eggs. And the male got the XY chromosomes out of the 46 chromosomes, and the female got the XX chromosomes, and it is the Y chromosome that determines the male gender. Then between these two, God put love between those two, so when they are united, and then you get babies. So out of this you get billions of people. Billions. This is the genius of God, the infinite superior genius of God, that out of a male and a female, you get billions for free. We don't have to keep creating them for free. Now, what the Quran says, God did not create Adam and Steve. God did not create two males. If God would have created two males, where would have been the babies? Men do not give birth. Then we wouldn't have had billions of people. The only way you can have billions of people is because of a pair. One male, one female. This is the genius of God. So God is saying very clearly, Man and man must not have sex. And woman must not have sex. And we know from a scientific point of view, you can do an experiment to say, what does nature say? Because some people don't want to talk about God. They say, what is natural? What is natural? And what is unnatural? What is against nature? Unnatural means that you're opposing nature. You're opposing nature, something that's natural. So what you do, you take 3 islands. And why this is a scientific experiment? Because this is repeatable. Anything that's repeatable under lab conditions is scientific, right? So you can do this and you can do it thousands of times, but you need 100-year periods. You take one island and you put 1,000 men. Only men on it. Men, only men. And another island, you put 1,000 females on it. Only women. Beautiful woman. Only woman there on the island. Nobody else. And another island, you put 500 men and you put 500 women. And you come back after 100 years. What does nature tell us? What is natural according to the laws of universe? What is unnatural? What is not allowed? Nature gives you the answer. Science gives you the answer. Medicine gives you the answer without a shadow of a doubt that in 100 years' time, all these people will be dead. How many people will be living there? 0. A male and a male cannot give birth. So every one of the 1,000 will be dead. You'll just find bones there after 100 years. So after 100 years, what's going to happen? There'll be extinction. All the gays will be extinct. Ons verstaan, because nature gets rid. This is evolution. Evolution talks about survival of the species. So let's use science in evolution. Evolution will say that if you put an island with 1,000 men on it, evolution will get rid of this. Nature will get rid of them because they won't survive. There's no babies left. They cannot produce babies without a womb. Yes, they can have a lot of fun from a recreational, from a sex point of view. They can have as much sex as they want to. They can go wild with the sex. They can have orgies. But they will die. They're an extinct species. They won't survive. There's not a single baby will come out of there. Similarly, the woman will have a lot of lesbian sex. But after 100 years, there'll be 0. They will not survive. They will become extinct. The only thing that is natural, so this is unnatural against nature. Evolution will get rid of you. This is unnatural against evolution and science. Evolution will get rid of you. The only natural thing is after 100 years, there won't only be 1,000 people. There'll be 10,000 or 40,000 people. Men, women, children, grandchildren. This is the law of life. Not my law. This is the way God has created it. Now, God makes it very firm. At least the Quran makes it very firm. The Quran doesn't lay so much emphasis on lesbianism. But I'm not a scholar, but I don't see much about 2 women. But insofar as 2 men are concerned, the Quran is very, very, very clear. The Quran keeps on emphasizing, do you approach males? Males. Every time the emphasis is on male gay sex. The Quran is silent on lesbians. Now, I'm not a ulama. I'm just saying what I'm reading here. So once again, let's read what this verse is saying. But for clarity on this, and if I make a mistake, I say astaghfirullah. But for clarity on this, once again, let's read this. What is it saying? It is saying that of all the creatures in the world, will you approach males? Why are men having sex with men? This is what the Quran is asking. And this is Sodom and Gomorrah. And that is why in paradise, nobody got an anus in paradise. There's no gay sex in paradise. So please remember, I'm not saying it. In paradise, the hadith says that there will be no spitting. There will be no coughs and flus and cold. There's no toilets in paradise. When you finish eat food, you don't go to the toilet for number 1 and number 2. You don't go urinate and you don't have feces. You don't have number 2. That means your food is digested simply by a a drop of sweat comes out on your head, or you'll give a tiny burp and your food is digested. Because paradise is such a clean place. There's no space for toilets, smelly toilets. There's no sewage pipes in paradise. There's no filth in paradise. Everything is clean. And we will get a brand new body, that because you're not going to urinate in paradise, there's no napak, not even one drop of urine is going to touch you. Everything is pure and halal. That means you're not going to have a bladder. You're not going to have kidneys. You're not going to have kidney stones. You're not going to have ureters. You're not going to even have a urethra. Men will not have bladders. Women will not have bladders. The bladder, the urethra in women will be closed. They won't have a urine hole. In men, the urethra will be there, Allahu Alam, because of the ejaculation that they will still need. But I doubt they will have testicles. It will be another form of liquid that will come out. But there's no need for spermatozoa. So it will be a whole new type of creation. And most importantly, nobody will have an anus, because you eat the food. Yes, you will have a stomach. But after the food is digested in the stomach, there's no duodenum, no jejunum, no ileum, no small intestine. You won't have an ascending colon, you won't have a transverse colon, you won't have a descending colon, you won't have a sigmoid colon, you won't have a rectum, and you won't have an anus, because you don't need it. There's no feces there. So there's no anus in paradise. So let's be very clear. So whoever are the males who think that for eternity they're going to have gay sex, please remember, in paradise there's no gay sex in paradise. Because there's nobody got an anus. Right? So are we clear on that? So the condemnation is here that Lut alayhi salam is coming to the people of Sodom and Gomorrah, and because they were punished, today we know that that site has been condemned because it is known as the Dead Sea. To show as a reminder for humanity for all time to come that gay sex is not productive. It is against nature. It is unnatural, as what I showed here. Right? So of all the creatures in the world, will you approach males? But remember, we are not saying this out of condemnation. If someone is, for example, involved in LGBTQ and so on, we cannot persecute such people. We must treat everybody with kindness and compassion and understanding. So let's be very clear on that. I'm not saying we must now say, okay, because the Quran says this, no. You cannot take the law into your own hands. We must do everything with kindness and with understanding and with empathy, because Allah tests different people in different ways. Tomorrow, what if there's a lesbian in your home or someone with LGBT in your home? So we cannot point fingers to others, but we need to be understanding. But it is the job of the ulama and the academics and the teachers to share the word of the Creator Supreme, so that the young Gen Z, the young kids who are 5 and 6 and 7 years old who are growing up, they do not get programmed in the wrong way because of the woke crowd. Because the woke crowd, the LGBTQ crowd, is very vocal, and they are enforcing in the education system the idea of gay sex, and it's okay to be gay, and it's okay to be lesbian, and it's okay to be cisgender and transgender and anything you want to do. So that is how they are confusing the children, which is very sad, because some children who are boys, at the time of puberty, they say, no, we are girls. And some girls at the time of puberty say, no, we are boys. And then they start taking puberty-delaying drugs. Some of them go to the extreme to even remove their breasts, which is very sad. So all that I'm saying, you are entitled to what you want to believe or follow an ideology, but don't enforce your belief on others. So all I'm saying is that LGBTQ must not enforce their values on us as ordinary people, and we don't enforce our values on others. We must treat each other with love and kindness. Never force anybody. And it is the duty of our government and our education system to ensure that we do not allow woke teachings in our school. America has done that to the great regret. Other nations have done it to the great regret, and now they are realizing, let's get back to the values of God, because people are now even debating what is a male and a female. I mean, if you ask a doctor what is a male and a female, I mean, if you don't know the answer to that question, if I'm the professor there, I will fail you on the spot. I will tear up your medical license. That's what I will do if you don't know the difference between a man and a woman. Yet we find that people have become so confused. We find political leaders in other countries, when they are being asked, can you define a woman? And they say, I mean, you're a doctor, for heaven's sake. Just explain what your medical textbook, what Gray's Anatomy tells you. The body that you dissected from head to toe, you dissected the private parts of a woman, you dissected the private parts of a man. What's so difficult? Like, duh. Right? So of all the creatures in the world, will you approach males? And leave those whom Allah has created for you to be your mates. Allah created woman for you. So please stick to woman. For every man is a woman, not man to man. God did not create Adam and Steve. He created Adam and Eve. And don't ever forget that, right? Nay, you are a people transgressing all of them. You are insulting God by saying, God, you created a woman for me. No, I don't want woman. Why do you insult God like that? He has given you a wonderful gift of a woman and you want men? So God then gets upset with you, because then you are transgressing, you are opposing, you are challenging God, right? They said, if you desist not, O Lut, you will assuredly be cast out. He said, I do detest your doings. Oh my Lord, Ya Rabbal Alamin. Now he's praying for help. Now once a messenger or a person prays for help, then you better be careful. So now he's saying, Ya Rabbal Alamin, oh my Lord, deliver me and my family from such things as they are doing. So we delivered him and his family all, except an old woman who lingered behind. She was his wife. She was also, as what traditions go, she was also part of the people involved in orgies between men and women, right? So she was also part of the very frivolous type of lifestyle. And the rest we destroyed utterly. We rained down on them a shower of brimstone, and evil was the shower on those who were admonished, but heeded not. Verily, in this is a sign, but most of them do not believe. And verily, your Lord is He, the exalted in might, most merciful. May Allah guide us towards those actions and deeds that are righteous and acceptable and pleasing to Him, and guide our children and grandchildren and descendants and this wonderful community of South Africa and the world, also all over the world, to follow those behavior and lifestyle which is pleasing to our Creator, because guaranteed we're going to return to Him. Let us all return to Him with honor and with dignity with which He is pleased with us. Ameen Ya Rabbal Alameen. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen.